at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast. Happy Saturday to you, wherever you may be. I already see a comment in the chat that I love. Timmy saying yesterday's game did not happen. I almost want to live by that, but a lot of the show, a lot of the things we're going to talk about today have to do with yesterday's game and that appalling attempt at umpiring from home plate umpire Adam Beck. We're going to talk about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. We're going to take a look at the injured list for the Dodgers because there is some more good news as the Dodgers return home. Voicemails, if you guys also want to call in, you see the number on the screen here, 562-373-4095. As we are live here, we'll have some fun hanging out here for about 45 minutes, an hour or so, and then we will move on and hope for a victory today. And I laugh because I see DFA Yamamoto. Perfect timing on the comment there. Guys, sound off in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this Dodgers team after that ugly game against the Giants on Friday, how we're feeling heading into today, which is Kershaw Day. All that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's dive into it. The Ump Show costs the Dodgers a game in a way. Listen, you can't take everything, put everything on Adam Beck's shoulders. We could try. We certainly can try. But Yamamoto did play a part in that. We'll talk Yama in a second. But my sweet Lord, what an awful, awful performance from this dude, Adam Beck. As I so eloquently put it here on this particular tweet that I'm going to show in a second here. Frankly and simply, Adam Beck can fuck all the way off. I've never believed in something more in my life than Adam Beck can fuck all the way off. Hold on, I gotta put my my full screen on here because we don't have Kevin this morning. He's taking care of business in Chicago. Maybe he joins a little bit later. Maybe he does not. But even so, Alex Renteria in the chat. Umpire was trash. Denny Cortez checking into the chat. What's going on, Denny? Good to see your name hanging out with us this morning. ADK, also a great point. Offense did not show up. Got to credit Logan Webb. Logan Webb kept the Dodgers off balance for a lot of the night. But it's funny. You look at this. We look at the umpire scorecard from last night. Because again, WTF Adam Beck, home plate umpire. But you see right there, it says 1.36 plus 1.36 runs favoring the Giants. Overall consistency. I don't know how you get a 94% consistency score when that box was all over the place. That strike zone was all over the place. But the Giants had the upper hand. The Giants had more calls going their way. Of course, we saw a few of them go very much against Max Muncy. A weird decision for Beck to not check with the third base umpire whether or not Max Muncy had swang. What the fuck? Oh, I need more coffee here. Had swung the bat, had used the bat, crossed the plane, and call it a strike. Whatever. Right now I'm trying too hard, but. I was really hoping Dave Roberts would get himself hosed. Not that does anything. But I would love to have seen Doc get himself hosed yesterday. I think he had enough of a reason to get up in an umpire's face and kind of say something about it. But some of these are pretty atrocious. And you see Yamamoto definitely got I don't know if he got the short end of the stick, but he was the one who was the most affected by it because the Dodgers were swinging yesterday. We know Logan Webb is a ground ball pitcher, and he's having a very good season up to this point. Yamamoto, he was painting. And then you could see that he lost it because he wasn't getting the strike zone that he felt he should be getting. I think that most of us felt he should be getting a lot of calls going against Yama, and that threw him off. And that's on Yamamoto. You got to, and not everything's going to go your way. Not everything's going to be perfect. You got to battle through that. And he did not. And you saw him kind of overthrowing. You saw him get out of his mechanics. You saw him yanking pitches and whatnot. But I'm putting the onus of that, at least, I don't want to say 50-50, but a good bit of home plate blue getting in Yama's head is what screwed him over. Cole saying that third inning should have been 3 and out. The ump screwed that one up. Yeah, we should have never even reached a point where the Clark Schmidt was able to come up and hit a grand slam there. Even if it was a solo homer, like we saw Willie Adames in the first inning, even if it was a solo homer, that's fine, or a 2-run homer or whatever. It shouldn't have been a grand slam, but you also shouldn't even have been at that point. This home plate was so egregious. There's already like a YouTube video dedicated to all the blown calls. Somebody had shared it on the social media. One of the many great Japanese Dodgers fans on the Twitter machine, but shared this one here about it, which was pretty good. It's disaster class in Giants game. A great way of explaining it. It was a bit of a disaster class. My buddy Jeff Snyder was texting me last night about it as well. And I'll tell you, Jeff is usually somebody who I don't know that he'll avoid placing blame on an umpire, but if you saw his clip, the short that they posted on social, and I believe here on YouTube, he had the frame all out of place because the strike zone was out of place. But anyways, for Jeff to complain about something, it must mean there's some teeth to it, that the umpire maybe didn't directly cost the Dodgers the game, but goddamn did he not help. But yeah. Let's get some thoughts about this. Denny Cortez, 1 inning can change a whole game with bad calls, and that is what we saw last night. Another one right there. Cole, 46 pitches in that 3rd inning, and Yama was unable to make it out of the 5th inning, which was tough. Hey, look at the person who posted that video, Kohei. I believe I'm saying that right. Kohei-san, thank you very much. Hanging out with here on this Saturday morning. Thank you very much for sharing that video, because I watched it and I was like, wow, these calls are really, really bad. Oh God. I hate losing to most teams, but I hate losing, from Alex's comment here, insinuating I hate losing to the Giants the most. Yeah, you hate losing to the Giants. I would argue I probably hate losing to the Padres a little bit more. But in general, I just hate losing. And also you hate losing to because of an umpire, or because of something that's out of the team's control. And I felt that that's a lot of what last night was. It was things that were out of the team's control. Like I did say, we do have some voicemails that I'm imagining. I haven't listened to any of them. I'm imagining there's a lot of anger and vitriol towards this umpire. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to the channel. If you hate the home plate umpire and you want the Dodgers to win tonight, that is called easy engagement right there. Let's go ahead and rattle off a voicemail here. I do want to hear from our fine callers. And again, if you do have thoughts now here during the show, please do sound off. I'll do my best to pay attention to the voicemail hotline if things pop up. Try to leave a message in the comments if you do, so hopefully I can see that as well. I try to pay attention to as many comments as I can. Sometimes it's very difficult when you're a one-man show here. But anyways, enough pussyfooting around. Let's listen to our buddy Richie, because I know Richie is not going to be a happy boy. So here's Richie.
Oh, hey, Clint. Happy Saturday to you. I never like to blame umpires for anything. If you got to depend on an umpire's call to win a game, well, then maybe you're a horse shit to put yourself in that position to begin with. But I digress. But the performance behind the plate last night was atrocious. It was so bad that 2 pitches in the same spot, back to back from each other. One was called a ball, one was called a strike. In short, the strike zone was like shit in a chicken coop. It was all over the place. And the sad part about it is that this umpire won't be held accountable. There won't be reporters standing outside his locker to ask why did he shit all over himself. If he does get fined, we'll never hear about it because the league office doesn't disclose that to the public. In short, it was just a bad performance altogether. And speaking of bad performances, the Dodger offense, except for Tio, the entire Dodger lineup went 0 for 23 and 2 walks. Let that sink in. A fucking donut hole for 23. That was everything that we got out of our offense. The Rockies, Nickelback, and the captain of the Titanic can't believe how bad of a performance that was. And finally,
catching strays.
Is it asking too much for a Dodger pitcher to go more than 4 innings because it ain't happening. It's like our kryptonite. No matter who we throw out there, whatever healthy arm that we have, it's like an act of Congress to get anybody to go beyond 5 innings. It just isn't happening. And since Congress is going to have to get involved to pass some sort of a law while they're at it, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you make the original Die Hard movie an official Christmas classic? Can we outlaw opening Christmas presents up on Christmas Eve and do it on Christmas Day? I don't ask for much, but as I always say, opinions are like assholes and everybody's got one and that's mine. So fuck the Dodger Stadium parking lot. Fuck Manny Machado. Fuck the Padres. Fuck Tatis and Profar. And for the love of God, fuck the Ghost Runner. See ya.
There's our buddy Richie Flores calling in. Has some heat, has some spice, as you would imagine, and everything nice. Listen, we've talked a lot about the umpire. I know we have a couple more voicemails about the umpire as well, so we'll get to those in a second. I want to focus on the pitching because it has been an issue. We know the pitching is an absolute issue for this team. Starting pitching, in particular, has been a problem for this team, and Yamamoto has been like the leader of the starting rotation for sure. But I guess we could dive into it now. It's like, well, beyond Yamamoto, Kershaw. I mean, every single game we're hoping, we got our fingers crossed for the best when it comes to Clayton being out there. He was good last week in his last start against the Cardinals, but he's still somebody who is a 37-year-old man who has had now multiple surgeries to try to survive and stay in the league and stay in the starting rotation and all that. He's not the Kershaw we knew and loved 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. He's not the same guy. We shouldn't feel like he's our number 2 guy, which was always a concern we had. Even when they re-signed him in the offseason, you're like, listen, we hope that he has a great season and there's a conversation to be had at the end of the year about him being in the starting rotation, in the postseason rotation, I should say. Ideally, or really, realistically, is if he's in the starting rotation, something probably went very wrong for this team. And right now, something has gone pretty wrong for this team. But he's your number 2 guy. He's the best guy, the second best guy you have available right now. Dustin May is in there. Ben Kasparius is moving into the starting rotation. And somebody had asked me on Twitter yesterday, the day before, it's like, I'm looking at the pitchers who are available. Who's the number 5 guy? Well, right now it's Justin Wrobleski because he's the only dude who is on the active roster that is built up to any sort of workload. I mean, I guess you could say Matt Sauer's in there, maybe some sort of opener bulk guy situation for those guys, or it's Emmett Sheehan. We'll talk about him a little bit later in the show. Emmett Sheehan coming back after only 3-4 rehab starts, built up to 61 pitches or whatever in his last outing. But that's a lot of stress. It's a lot of strain, and these dudes aren't really guys back to the root of the what we're talking about here from Richie's voicemail. They're not guys that are going to go 5 or 6 or 7 innings. They're really not. Like, Yamamoto needs to be that guy, but like we said already, he didn't have it. Like he was struggling with the strike zone, and it screwed him over. Seeing we need volume up a little bit. I got you, Steve. Appreciate that. Hopefully nobody else's ears have blown out. Try to get that dialed in because sometimes my soundboard decides to be weird about it. I don't know. It's weird. But anyways, back to the point here. Yamamoto needed things to go his way to be able to pitch into the 6th or 7th inning. We don't have that. He didn't have that last night, and it didn't work out. And as much blame as we're going to put on that home plate umpire, you got to assign some fault to Yoshi. Let's talk about this. Accountability for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, because he was nibbling last night. This is also one of the things that Dave Roberts had mentioned as well. It's like he was a little bit out of the zone. I would call it painting. I mean, if you have a different umpire, home plate umpire, he would have been fine. I think he would have survived. I think he would have been a lot better off. It's not saying very much with how bad that umpire was last night, but it would have been closer to a gem for Yama than what we ended up seeing. But ultimately, again, you got to assign some accountability. He walked 5 hitters. He allowed 6 hits in his 4 1/3 innings, or 4 2/3, whatever it was. He threw the pitch that was a grand slam. That was a Casey Schmidt grand slam. He threw the pitch that Willy Adames hit out. Those are on him, and it's worth, unfortunately, pointing out that he's been bad, kind of bad for the last, well, I wouldn't say, because like a 3 ERA in May is pretty good. But in the month of June, you see that, the 5.65 ERA, 4.46 since early May. And when I say early May, it was the second start in May, which was his first start where he was forced to move from pitching once a week, or he was the every Friday pitcher. He moved to pitching every 5th day, and clearly that has played some sort of factor, in his struggles, because he's had inconsistency in his struggles. Hell, we see Carlos in this comment down here. I don't know who Carlos is, but he's gassed already. He needs a month off. I don't know if he's gassed and needs a month off, but I think the 5 days not helping Yama out. He's just not that guy. That's not how he was built. That's in Japan, he was an every week, every 6-day guy. The problem is he can't do that with the state of the starting rotation. You don't have Roki, you don't have Tyler Glasnow, you don't have Blake Snell, and it's now very clearly a problem for this team. And everybody else has kind of come up. Landon Knack had his good moments, but also more bad moments, and now he's at AAA. He'll probably be there for at least a couple of weeks. It's just, I didn't want to circle back to, it's about weathering the storm. Something this team has done so many times, weathering the storm of injuries and all that, and eventually things will get better in the next month. 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. Things are going to be a lot better 8 weeks from now. But it's tough sledding right now. It's absolutely tough sledding right now. That's why we got coffee, though. We do have coffee, so got that going for us. We also got whiskey. I was on the whiskey last night to help me through that game. But I don't know. I don't know if I said anything there. I don't know if I answered anything there. But I just want to make sure we assign a little bit of accountability. This game was not all on the home plate umpire, and I'm sure we'll have a voicemail or two sharing that same sentiment or a similar sentiment. I got 2 more voicemails loaded up that we are going to listen to. Before we listen to them, though, I do got to tell you, I got to pop out or pop in, whatever. I got to tell you about Bet Online quickly, guys. Bet Online, as you know, is the number one source. It's the most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action this year. Baseball season, as we know, is in full swing, and our livers are unhappy about it. But beyond that, we are deep into the NBA Finals. Those are going on. Exciting teams playing in the NBA Finals. I think NHL Finals are still going on. I don't know. They haven't given me an updated script about it, so I assume it is. But BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, and even live in-game betting while games are being played, which makes it more fun, makes it more exciting. We're in the dog days of summer. We're getting close to the dog days of summer, technically. And BetOnline has the largest selection of odds on everything, with updated odds on MLB, UFC, boxing, to tennis, NFL futures. I think there's some golf in there, of course, the U.S. Open going on right now. BetOnline remains the best source for all your sports wagering info. If there's not a game happening or you're between games, you can head on over to the BetOnline casino. They have top Vegas-style games in there, including poker. There's a live casino. Go check that out. BetOnline, the game starts here. Let's go ahead and fire off another voicemail we got here from I believe technically we could call him first time caller. I don't know if Corey OCJ has called in before, but OCJ has some thoughts. We're going to listen to him.
Hey Clint, it's Corey, aka OCJ. Couple things about last night. Dodger Giants rivalry is, it's big. Feels great when we win, feels real bad when we lose. So we're not feeling too good today. Let's talk about the positives. Tio, man, he hit another home run. Maybe he's starting to break out of this. Let's hope, right? Also, let's talk about Robo. Duke can pitch. Left-handers who throw 100 are always invited on my team. There's always a place for those guys. So, you know what? Hopefully he sticks around because I really like what he brings to the team. That's all I got, dude. Let's freak him. Let's get him on the field, then. He does not look good on the bench.
Does not.
Fuck the Dodger Stadium parking lot. Fuck the Ghost Runner. And fuck that umpire last night who couldn't find the strike zone with a map. Bye.
Oh, God, I wasn't expecting that one. Corey, that's OCJ calling in. Appreciate Corey calling in the voicemail hotline. Yeah, you know what's funny is both the positives Corey rattled off were things that I wanted to point out from that game. Teoscar Hernandez, second game in a row with a homer. You feel good about that. You feel really, really good about Teo getting off the schneid because he needed it, we needed it, and he needed it. Everybody needed it pretty dang bad. So getting him back, hopefully in a run production mode, is good. Now we just need the top of the lineup to get on base before him so we can start to make those solo homers count more like 2 and 3 or maybe even 4-run home runs because that goes a long way. And then also another one of the positives I wanted to say, Justin Wrobleski, last night after being pressed into duty was great. 4 1/3 innings for him, 4 hits, 1 earned run. You cannot ask for much more from the kid. And, again, being pressed into duty, it's like to go out and do that when you don't expect to need to come in the game in the 4th or in the 5th inning when the team ace is on the mound. But he had to. He was forced into duty, pressed into duty with Yamamoto struggles, and he was great. And if we're being honest, Robo's been pretty good over his last 3 or 4 outings. Like his first start of the year was absolute ass. It was bad. It was terrible. Everything about it sucked. And now, he's good. He's been great for the team. So I just want to make sure we shout out Justin Wrobleski for doing a good job. ERA all the way down to 6.05 now. Ooh, does not help when you give up 7 runs in your first game of the season. Mike M says here's a positive. The Bat Boy didn't go on the IL. Prayers up to our buddy, the Bat Boy. Hey, how about Richie Flores with $4.99 Super Chat? Thank you very much. Richie with the Super Chat says, How much more does Kim need to do to stay in the lineup? Can't play him 2 times a week. He brings a spark, and F Conforto. I didn't really plan on talking a whole lot about Ha-Seong Kim again because I think I laid it all. I laid all my cards out on the line last week in my pursuit, in my push for Ha-Seong Kim being in the lineup every day. At this point, dude's hitting 391. They play better when he's in the lineup. You cannot refute the fact. You cannot dispute the fact that they play better when he's in the lineup, and more importantly, when he's in the starting lineup. They are, I think, 12-7 or something when he's in the starting lineup. It's a fucking no-brainer at this point. Nicole Taylor, thank you. Stop sacrificing Kim for other people's at-bats. It's ridiculous. And for Kim to not play and Michael Conforto being in there because, they paid him money, it can get frustrating. Now, that said, I understand the why. I think we all understand the why. You have the opportunity right now. I mean, Dodgers are still technically in first place at the moment. They're tied, by the way, for first place in the NL West with those Giants. So it does, the series does mean a lot. And then, of course, 4 more with the Padres after this series. But, what we've seen out of Mike Conforto, I kind of think is what we're going to get. Dude's not going to hit much above 190. And even his, trying to sell it as a hot streak or whatever, when he's been better, over those stretches, he still is hitting 230 or 240. And if that's the ceiling this year, at some point, it's okay. It's okay to cut bait. You could put him on the bench. He will still be there. He's still going to be an option for this team. But to start seeing the power struggle of playing time switch the other way around and Kim getting the lineup more, I really do wish. Kim Ha-Seong's not going to get better defensively until he plays more. And what's funny to me, and I think I talked about it at some point this week on some show, whichever one it was. It might have been on Blue Review, it might have been Dodgers territory, but every time I talk crap about Kim, like, I hate him in the outfield, he goes and like makes a 5-star play. So either I got to just keep talking crap about Kim every time he's in the outfield and make sure I look like an idiot so he can thrive. But he needs to be in the lineup. It's as simple as that. My dude needs to be in that goddamn lineup. Joe Mama says, get that bum, talking about Michael Conforto, out of LA. I would be okay. OCJ also in the chat. Conforto is a bust. It's okay at some point to cut your losses. And again, you wouldn't technically be cutting Michael Conforto. It's okay for him to be on the bench. Perfectly fine. You have another lefty bat off the bench that can walk up there and strike out for you, and you got a righty bat off the bench with Miguel Rojas, who has had his own struggles this season for sure. Let's listen to another voicemail, and then we'll talk a little bit about today. We do have a voicemail from Philbert calling in, has some things to talk about for your boys in blue. Let's listen to Philbert here.
Hey there, Clint Nation. How you doing this morning? I know last night was kind of rough. By the way, this is Philbert here. I'm an old guy doing business as Blue the Dodger Dog on some occasions, but I want to let you know that I've been watching baseball, and the Dodgers in particular, for over 60 years, and I've discovered a trend. Now, you can check this out. Get your analytics out and check this out. See if this holds water. The team that pitches better and hits better in a game usually wins. Wow.
Breaking.
You mean we have to pitch and hit in the same game? And by the way, can we just go ahead and put Yoshinobu back on a 6-day rotation? Did anybody else notice that since he went to the 5-day, it's been kind of flaky? Or am I wrong about that again? I do. Sometimes I don't take my pills and I get a little delusional, so I could be wrong about this. So I'm counting on you, Clint Nation, to correct me when I'm wrong. So anyway, let's try again today. We'll try it tonight. It's Kershaw Day, and that's always good for a smile. Anyway, let's go Dodgers.
I was hoping he was going to end it with an F the Dodger Stadium parking lot and all that. Philbert, appreciate you calling in. If you guys don't know, Philbert, he does cartoons. He does like old school, like, you can almost call them like political cartoons or whatever, satire cartoons. But he does them about the Dodgers, and they're great. You guys can follow Blue the Dodger Dog and Onions on Instagram and all that, and Phil also hangs out with us at times in the All Dodgers Discord, which you can be a part of by either signing up on Patreon or YouTube members. Here it's $5 a month. And we also just had our first All Dodgers watch party on Monday, the game the Dodgers beat the Padres. It was fun, hanging out, talking Dodger baseball. I was talking everything with everybody. It was a good time in there. We'll have another one some point next month. But anyways, all of that aside, it's funny. Phil brings up a couple of things we had already talked about here, going into Kershaw Day and all that kind of stuff. But Yamamoto's struggles since moving to the pitching every 5th day, it hasn't gone great. It absolutely has not gone great for him. So I know my boy D-Mac, he asked Dave, last night in the post-game scrum, he had asked Dave, in so many words, look at the numbers. Do you think there's any sort of cause and effect to Kershaw or Yamamoto struggles since going back to 5 days? And Dave just kind of wasn't ready to respond to it, either didn't have information or really wasn't willing to kind of entertain the idea that Yamamoto can be bad every 5th day. Dave said something to the effect of he did it for us last year and all that. But yeah, he also wasn't exceptional during those points. And he also missed 3.5 months with a shoulder injury. I don't know. I just can't wait till we start to get some bodies back and we can get some sort of semblance of normalcy and get Yamamoto back pitching the way he wants to, the way he should be pitching, which is every 5th every 6th day or once a week. Guys, we are hanging out here. It is Saturday. It's about 11:30. Dodgers playing tonight. Like we said, Clayton Kershaw on the bump coming off of his best start of the year against those St. Louis Cardinals. He's been great against the San Francisco Giants over his career. So we have reason to feel positive. We have reason to feel good about today's game. We really do. I forget who's going for the Gigantes, so let's look into that real quick here. Giants have had really good luck on starting pitching, or just pitching in general. I said it on Dodgers territory, or no, I said it with Snydog on Locked On Dodgers on Thursday, I think it was. Entering play on Thursdays, the Giants had the second best ERA in baseball. They had the best bullpen ERA in baseball. Their pitcher today has been solid. Tanner Rope. Is that how you say his name? Is it Tanner? I don't know. It wouldn't tell me. Something. Please fucking tell. Landon. I knew that. There you go. Snake, thank you. Soul Bro 1 as well. Landon. Fucking hey. Let me have some coffee here. By the way, shout out our friends at Heritage for hooking it up. Heritage 1857 hooking it up. Don't disregard the Hornitos unless you got some. But hooking it up with the coffee here on your Saturdays, check them out, heritage1857.com. Get some coffee there. Good Vietnamese coffee, good mom and pop type business. I love that. I absolutely love that. Always support your local businesses, even when they're not local, but support small businesses when you can. But anyways, Landon Raup, however you say the last name, going for the Giants today, 4-4 on the season, 3.29 ERA. He's been good, but Kershaw is Clayton Kershaw, and he has to once again, or he has an opportunity. If you lose one game, I don't know how much of it is like a stopper, but he has an opportunity to be a stopper for the Dodgers today, and I think we all can use that pretty desperately. It would be absolute panic if the Dodgers fall out of first place. Just saying, which they would if they lose to the Giants today. Let's shift gears a little bit. I did say I wanted to hit on some, there it is, I want that one. Hit on some health and injury news for your Los Angeles Dodgers, because there was a lot out of Dodger Stadium yesterday, as I expected there to be. We got some news on Blake Snell, Blake Trinan, Tyler Glasnow, there's some Roki Sasaki in there, and Emmett Sheehan expectations in a way as related to when he's going to come up and potentially come up and help this team out. But let's dive in first to this one here. We got the two Blakes, as they said here, Dodgers Insider. Two Blakes, Snell and Trinan, both threw bullpens yesterday on Friday. Snell was all fastballs. It was a good day for both of them. Snell's 20-pitch session is hitting low to mid-90s with the fastball. That comes from David Vassay, AM 570. Blake Trinan said he is in the, quote, spring training phase of his throwing right now, which, to me, sounds great, because Blake Trinan in this bullpen would be a godsend. And I use that word very specifically for our boy Blake Trinan. But if he's, spring training phase, that puts us about a month away. Maybe he's back. That All-Star game, post All-Star game, could be insane for these Dodgers, because you could be getting Snell back, you could be getting Trinan back, you could be plugging Shohei Ohtani into the starting rotation either just before or just after the All-Star break. Like, things, again, a month from today should be a completely different outlook. Even if the Dodgers fall out of first place, I wouldn't say I'm okay, but it's not the end of the world if they have to struggle a little bit and then pull themselves up by them bootstraps and climb back up to get things going again for the second half of the season through the trade deadline and into October. Like, they play better when they're playing for something. So we got good news there. Snell, Trinan on their way back. Tyler Glasnow also, hey, everybody remember him. He threw baseballs yesterday, live batting practice at Dodger Stadium. Things went well for him, and he's expected to throw a simulated game next week, which is pretty much a precursor to a minor league rehab assignment. So we could also be T-minus 3 weeks at best for a Tyler Glasnow. Knock on wood, knock on desk here, that no other issues pop up for Glasnow, for which he loves issues. I wouldn't say he loves issues, but still, you get my point. You get the joke. He's attracted to having arm issues and back issues and all that kind of stuff. But my God, this team could use that kid desperately right now. How about another one? You guys remember the name of, get the hell out of the way, of Roki Sasaki? We got a little bit of an update on him. I'm calling it like kind of a confusing update because, as Matthew Moreno here, Dodger Blue, pointed out, it said he's pain-free. He's kind of throwing a baseball around, but I think Roki is somewhat hesitant. It feels to me like he's somewhat untrusting of his health and his shoulder. The quote there from Doc, I don't know if he's feeling something or he just doesn't have the confidence to kind of trust that he's in a good spot. But I think we can highlight it, as a concern when we're talking about Roki Sasaki. It's like, I mean, you already feel good if you're getting Snell and Glasnow and Ohtani back in the rotation or added to the rotation by the second half of the season. Roki would be a nice addition as well. I would say they could probably survive without all 4 of those dudes. It would be nice to have them all, or 4 of those dudes. Yeah, 4. You guys know math isn't my strong suit. Apparently I can't add up to 4 right now. But even so, Roki, yeah, we'll kind of see. I mean, I guess we're just kind of sort of putting a pin in it for the next week or two, and hopefully things get a little bit better. After then, he starts throwing a baseball, throw with a little bit of intent, and then we'll really know whether or not he can be back in 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. And then beyond that, one final one, as we kind of expected, Emmett Sheehan. Dodgers are having internal discussions about whether or not he is going to make his next start for the big league club or the AAA club. Looking at the state of the rotation, I would put a strong likelihood on it happening with the big league club, some sort of situation where they have an arm ready to back him up in a bulk capacity. He's built up to about 65 pitchers or so that would mean his next start, he could probably get up to about 70, 75, which is a good starter's workload. And I think him, I see Delirium 9, while just mentioning the name Wrobleski, says Wrobleski and Knack, always a surprise because right when you're on the verge of writing him off, they surprise him. They come back and do something special. I don't know if it's something special, but something good for the team. And I would say definitely for Robo, he's opened some eyes, as we talked about it earlier as well. He's opened some eyes, and I think he's somebody who is a legitimate option to maybe act as a 5th starter. But it would be so difficult for this team to have like 2 arms like if they found a way to get to a 6-man rotation before any of the other guys were healthy. So let's say Emmett Sheehan comes back, plugs in that 5th spot, but they also use Wrobleski as like the 6th starter or whatever. Like that's 2 dudes along with like Kershaw and Dustin May, where you're like, chances are high they might need like a bulk guy or need a lot of innings covered behind them. And then that's when you're kind of caught with your pants down around your ankles, where if they're not around or if they can't go deep into a game and you were to use Matt Sauer, we know Ben Kasparius is now, right as of right now, the 4th starter, it sounds like, behind Dustin May. So he'll get the ball in game 1 against the Padres. Dustin May, very much a guy who might not go 5 or 6 innings. It's just it's a very, very fine line this team has to walk right now, and it is I don't envy Dave Roberts. Don't envy Dave Roberts at all. Our friend Diane checking in the stream, and if Diane's here, I know I need to push that like button, subscribe button, guys, to remind you that you should do that. Help us get to 16,000 subscribers. Help us like this video. It boosts, it helps us out in the algorithm on YouTube. You're always fighting the algorithm. Comments here on the live stream or even on the video after it's done as a live stream. All those things really do help us out. And also hit that thumbs up button if you want Diane to sell a house, because she has an open house running right now. But that's the state of the health and injury news, IL updates for your Los Angeles Dodgers. Things continue to trend in the right direction. Just need time. Just need patience. And things will be, I wouldn't say a lot better, but things could be a lot better. I saw a comment here. Joe Mama asking, serious question. They're all serious questions. I take them as all serious questions. But asking if I think if Dodgers pitching is being mishandled. Like, let's add context to the question, though. Like over the grand scheme of all these injuries, are we talking about specifically injuries, or is it how they're being run out every fifth day or sixth day or something like that? Is that what we're kind of talking about? How I'm initially interpreting it, I don't know how you handle it different, to be honest. Like, these are the guys they have. This is what they have to work with. They're doing their best. They're still in first place, even if it's tied. Dave is working with what he has. Even when we're talking about, what am I looking for? Sorry, I got distracted. Apparently there was a move. Dodgers Rule 5 draft guy returned from the Angels. I just saw that pop up on the Twitter. Doesn't mean anything. I lost my point. But they're working with what they have. And right now, they need dudes to come back and be healthy. If we're talking the broader picture of are they mishandling the pitchers, particularly starting pitchers, and that's why they're getting injured. And I know there's been like some narrative that somebody has put online about pitching coach or pitching coordinator Rob Hill. Since he's joined the team in like 2021, the Dodgers are often leaders in baseball in pitching injuries. Has nothing to do with what they're teaching, what they're preaching, nothing to do with what the lab is, the pitching lab is teaching pitchers to do. It's a combination of everybody's trying to throw as hard as they can. We like to forget about the 2020 shortened season, the 60-game season where, 2019 Walker Buehler threw like 180 innings. And then in 2020, he threw somewhere around, 60 innings, something like that, whatever it was. Then the next inning, 2021, he threw 200 innings, and then he was kind of like never the same. I think that's the way it works. I mean, it was pretty close to what I remember that those couple of years looking like. And then, of course, as we know, 22, the elbow was shot, has to undergo Tommy John surgery. Yeah, it did go that way. Had his best year in 21 through 207 innings, only 36 innings in 2020 for Buehler. You had a starter's workload, then you went down to 30 innings plus playoffs, and then you came back and threw 150 plus innings. It's not good. That's not good for pitchers. Right now, I still believe, beyond everybody trying to throw as hard as they can, I still believe that what we're dealing with and what we're seeing is the fallout of that 60-game season, the shortened season, and starters in particular having to get it back up again. Build up to 200 innings, of which nowadays none of them are built up like they were back in the day because they're all throwing in the mid 90s and high 90s and all that. You can't really throw 200 innings and throw 100 miles an hour and do it for a long stretch of time. Like I'm watching Tarek Skubal, seeing how long that holds up for him. Garrett Crochet for the Red Sox. This is a second full season in the starting rotation. When does he break down? Just kind of spitballing here. These are the things. These are the factors that lead to the bigger factors, I believe, that lead to all these injuries. And with the kids, the younger kids who Landon Knack, his 2020 season as a minor leaguer was wiped out because of that minor league season being canceled, and they had to go and pitch at the stupid auxiliary site at USC or wherever it was. Like, you lose an entire year, honestly, probably longer than an entire year in development as a pitcher, as a young pitcher. But all of that 60-game season is still, like, we're still dealing with it. That's still a big problem for me. I don't think it's anything the Dodgers are teaching. And that's not me. You guys watch me long enough to know I don't shill for the Dodgers. I don't, I believe they are a fallible front office. I think, Dave can make some good decisions and some bad decisions, all that kind of stuff. I will not glaze the Dodgers. I will not defend them when I don't think they need to be defended. And this isn't me defending them. This is just people get injured. And there's a lot of reasons why, and it's not what the Dodgers are teaching, because they're teaching them to throw your fastball. And, I mean, maybe there's something to teams trying to force, the highest of high possible, spin rate or whatever. The Dodgers do that for sure. I don't know. I don't want to talk myself into a corner one way or the other, because I think it's nuanced. I think it's a little bit of everything, but I don't put it specifically on the Dodgers. I do think there's a lot that we're still dealing with from 5 years ago. That's my thoughts. Anyways, appreciate the comment there from Joe Mama. What a great name there. What a great name. I think we're pretty close to about wrapping it up here. Let's see. Douglas saying it's mismanagement. Glasnow should have never pitched before the All-Star break. Well, then you're trading for a pitcher to not pitch for your team. That doesn't work for me. Like you're acquiring a pitcher, for one of your top pitching prospects, which they did with Ryan Pepio. And let's say in this scenario, let's go back to last year. It's like they traded for him and signed him to an extension to pitch. He came into this year saying, "I'm healthy, I'm good, I'm ready to go. I feel good. I like the mechanical changes that we made." With Glasnow, maybe that's a team thing a little bit this year, because they were trying to preach a little bit different body mechanics or whatever to try to keep his arm healthy, and it ended up making his shoulder bark. But also, he's a grown-up, he's a man, he's an adult. He can say if he doesn't like it, then I don't want to do it, which is kind of what he ended up doing afterwards. It's a whole nuanced kind of thing here. But even so, Glasnow is paid to pitch or get off the pot. That's kind of my thing. He was broken goods when he got here. A lot of the guys, Blake Snell, injury issues in his career before he got here. We know those when he's healthy, he could put up Cy Young Award type numbers twice in his career, but he is somebody who does get injured a time or two. But anyways, last one we'll hit right here. Should we encourage our pitchers to not go full gas, or not encourage them to go full gas? Velo pays. All these dudes, they're chasing the almighty aller, to borrow from the Simpsons there. They want their money. They want to be the best in the league. They want to not get passed up. And to do that, you need to throw as hard as you can. That's a fact these days. You need to throw as hard as you can. I don't know. Running out of steam here, gang. I didn't drink enough coffee before the show. But even so, we should feel good. We should feel fine. We're surviving. Dodgers are still in first place, and Kershaw is going to guide us once again today to remain in first place and have a one-game lead, or else I'm going to be very, very sad. Very, very sad. So, cheers to y'all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with me on this Saturday. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll be back next Saturday for sure. I'm going to try to find another day this week as well for us to go live, because I'm trying to make sure we're doing two shows here at the bare minimum on all Dodgers. But if you're looking for more of me, don't forget I do co-host Dodgers Territory with Alana Rizzo. That is every Monday and Thursday, and a post game on Tuesday. So there's plenty of me there. I'm on with my buddy Greg Bergman on ESPN LA radio every Monday morning. Hop in with my buddy Jeff Snyder on Locked On Dodgers here and there. I try to be around as much as I can, even if I'm not always here. There's still a good amount of content out there with me. Hopefully you guys follow along with me, but I appreciate the hell out of y'all for hanging out here on the show, supporting the show, hitting that like button, hit that subscribe, commenting and all that. You guys kill it. Thank you for the super chat from our buddy Richie always appreciate Richie for his support and generosity here on the show and for the brand. He's been phenomenal in making sure that the things keep going here at All Dodgers. So I do want to make sure I shout out Richie, and of course Diane does a lot of work as well for us and helping with things like we got a meetup coming up, All Dodgers meetup at Dodger Stadium. You got to sign up for Patreon or YouTube members to find out more information about it. But anyways, thank you to our Patreon supporters. Thank you to our YouTube members for literally directly helping keep the lights on here. Merch dropping soon, dropping next week. I just put it out there, so now I have to do it. If you guys want to support again, patreon.com/realfrg. Click the join button here on YouTube. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Go check out Bet Online. Go check out Heritage Coffee. Give my boy Kevin a follow. He'll be back on the next episode, or maybe do it his own solo show again. Producer Kevin, give him a follow. Skinner7 Kevin on Real FRG and all the social media things. Give me a follow there. I'm sorry this outro went on for so long. We'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye.